Hello everyone, welcome to my first video. In this video, I'm going to show a spaceplane that can be built with the science from the mid-tech tree. The mission takes off from Kerbin, enters Mun orbit, continues to Minmus, and finally returns safely to Kerbin. The idea was made up when I was playing my own game save. After I installed a bunch of beautify mode, I suddenly found my SSTO was no longer able to supersonic. Besides, I'm rather a caution person by nature. So instead of pushing for an extreme design like SSTO, I went for a more forgiving spaceplane. I named this spaceplane Hermoss. The reason I named this because later we'll build a KSP version of the Ariane 5 rocket. And just like ESA original Hermes project, we're going to mount our spaceplane directly on the top of the rocket, which is similar with the Hermes project. Now you might ask, if this is based on the Hermes, why don't just call it Hermes? Well, the translation on Baidu said ESA's Hermes was called Hermoss. Totally wrong name. So what's the advantage of this spaceplane? Well, it looks cool, at least better than the re-entry capsule. And another advantage is that it has less G-force when returning to Kerbin. You know what I mean, those command pods, when the parachute opens, that has at least 5 Gs minimum. But with a spaceplane, the re-entry G-force really depends on two things: your piloting skills and how much you care about your kerbals. So if you are the kind of players who really love your kerbal, who wants them to land comfortably, this spaceplane is perfect for you. Now here comes the question most of you are probably wondering. How does a spaceplane sitting on top of a rocket manage to fly straight up without flipping? Well, obviously, we need to make sure the aerodynamic center stays close to the center of mass. To do that, I decided to use a large vertical fin setup at the bottom of the rocket, which helps pull the aerodynamic center downward. In fact, I used a double-layer design, just enough to keep the distance between the lift center and mass center within a safe range. Anyway, we have finished the spacecraft. Let's enjoy the flight. We are going to do the trans-Mun injection. Since I forget to unlock maneuver load in this demo save, we have to ignite the engine by our feeling. Based on my experience, when in low Kerbin orbit, the ideal transfer window opens when the spacecraft is approximately 135 degrees behind the Mun. We've just finished the Mun Orbital science mission. Now it's time to transfer to Minmus. I'm not familiar with this transfer, so I use this website to find the transfer window. Now all the science data has been collected. We can return back to Kerbin. During the Minmus escape burn, I suggest to set the parity between 47,000 meters and 50,000 meters. In this interval, we won't burn up from overheating while still getting a significant amount of aerobraking. Meanwhile, if there's any orbital inclination, we should correct when we're still far away from Kerbin. Now comes the final step of going home. For a spaceplane like Hermoss, I recommend performing the deorbit burn above the desert airfield, aiming to touch down in the middle of the ocean, east of the Kerbal Space Center. Under aerodynamic effects, you can naturally glide to the runway. Touchdown successful. With 100% science return, this mission brings back 972 science points and 17,000 funds by the full price recovery on runway. In my own game save, the Hermoss spaceplane has already seen several evolutionary upgrades. I look forward to showcasing those in future videos. Mission accomplished. Thanks for watching and see you next time.